I hate it when people say that relativist morality or pluralist morality is in some way a negative thing. And if we lose objective morality, with all of our great achievements and abilities and ceases of sufferings will be lost. I think this is the most ridiculous notion to concerning morality and moral relativism, because for God's sake, let's look at objective morality. How much of the suffering that's been caused in the world from human beings has been as a result of objective morality? The Nazis in concentration camps, objective morality, we've got it. It's the Jewish people. Crusades, oh, we know it's those horrible primitive people from across the Europe. For God's sake, imperialism. Oh, it's these natives. They're savages. It's so many. I mean, like imperialism, communism. You know, at the attempts of the 20th century. Hundreds of millions of people died, all based on this idea of the end of history. We didn't know what morality was now, but now we've found that it's objective and it's all to do with the common of the worker, all of that stuff, resulting in absolute genocide, unprecedented, you know, just completely revolutionary in how much suffering and death was caused. All objective morality based missions and crusades and all the rest of that. And now here we are faced with the likes of Sam Harris, who believes that we can discover an objective morality through discovering the brain. A similar example of a man who, Sam Harris himself, who says that people in Saudi Arabia and the Arabian countries are all backwards and they're all based on a religion that doesn't work for them anymore. And women are being subjugated and all the rest of it. I'm sure his objective morality stance is so entwined with this idea that we need to go over and correct them based on this notion that he was saying, in response to a man saying, if women in wearing hijab say they enjoy it, it liberates them from the worry of being looked at by other men, surely we should take their word for it. And Sam Harris says, we can't take their word for it. They don't know what they're talking about. And again, this is this bloody bullshit thing about objective morality, only it's now propagated in the name of new scientific discoveries and atheistic, don't worry, we had all the God delusions, we had all of this, but now we've got it. Now we can go in and terrorize the country. And I have three main points to make in regards to this very strange notion that now we can rely on objective morality and say, this is what we can do. We need to go and teach these people, blah, 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 and at worst, wage war. My first point is how do we know that that's really what the powers are interested in at all? For God's sake, when we talk about the Middle East, and we talk about the 50 to 60 years that we've had horrible conflict and devastation there, was it really about their terroristic or their Islamic tendencies, or was it because there was a lot of bloody oil there and we just found a way to sort of rationalize this process and saying, I guess they really are. My assumption is that the agenda is sort of very conveniently placed, that we are on some moral mission when in fact we're on a mission for power and money and greed and all the rest of it. My second point is, let's say we are on a moral mission. How on earth can we believe that we can just convince them like that? I mean, not to mention, if there is this sort of, if there is a kind of, women are treated horribly, absolutely, of course. Let's say that is true. Women are treated horribly in the Middle East. We can just go with that. Do we think that we can resolve these sufferings easily by toppling over these entire countries, entire governments like Libya and Syria and Iraq, with the Iraq War and and all the rest of them? And once again, we leave Saudi Arabia and Israel out, probably because they're very conveniently in good trade deals with us. But that's the first point we're talking about. The second point here, how on earth can we imagine that they won't fight us back, and there'll be absolute devastation? And of course, there has been. The final point is, let's say they do need to be educated. Let's say we are on a moral mission. Let's say our mission is through a clear lens, and let's say that with enough effort, we can actually liberate the women and liberate all the rest of the things that go on. in the Middle East that might cause suffering, maybe suffering to children, suffering to vulnerable women, all the rest of it. Let's say we do that. Do we not think that we are going to, in our assimilation of their culture into ours, carry over all of our sufferings as well? Sufferings that I'm sure that we are blind to, yet feel every goddamn day. Do we not think that in perhaps this sort of liberation of these these sorts of problems, such as, these women and all the rest of it, not minor, but like, just these sorts of localized issues to say, this is what we're targeting, and of course, as the scapegoat goes, well, we've really found something to attack. We've really found something we should fight for, as it always has been in terms of people that believe in different gods, or African Americans, or Native Americans, all the rest of it, and the lynching and the genocide, blah, blah, blah. There's undoubtedly, we are going to carry over our sufferings as well, and our anxieties from the modern Western capitalist condition. We're going to just, if we assimilate them, we of course will carry that over to there as well. And my point is that, am I against any moral positions that we have? Am I against God, or the liberation of women, or the sort of establishing of liberal democracies, blah, blah, blah? No, of course not. But my point is, I don't know. I have no idea what the right or useful answer is in any case. And I'm certainly not going to wave a pitchfork to declare that if my morality is correct, which it should be in my case, I'm going to release that on to the entire world, because I'm a little bit more humble and modest than that, and I have the idea that I don't know. And the point is that we all have no idea what's going on, and perhaps if we are to be a little bit more skeptical of objective morality, we could find that moral relativism and moral pluralism could very well be a perfect antidote